I should say before the episode actually starts that there's no new Doctor Who next week. I technically said that last week, and I forgot to cut that out of the episode, but yeah, hopefully you guys noticed that there is a new Doctor Who this week. But there's no new Doctor Who next week. We're taking a break. It's Christmas. I mean, I know it's like the middle of January by the time you're seeing this, but it is Christmas. It's the 20th of December when we're recording this, so we'll be back in 2 weeks for episode 10, which is The Girl Who Waited. Hey guys, Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who. Last time around we had Let's Kill Hitler. What was that one about?
Well, it turns out really not to be about Hitler at all.
No.
Cram-packed. Started off with Amy and Rory doing a crop circle of some kind. The Doctor arrives, but then another car drives up and it turns out to be Amy's long-lost friend Mel's, who literally says, she's her best friend, and yet here we are, season and a half in, and we've never met her. And she gets into the TARDIS, and they go back to 1938. World War II hasn't even started yet, and Mel's is there to try to kill Hitler. It turns out Mel's is not Mel's, but Melody Pond, a.k.a. River Song, and she shoots the Doctor, and he dies, and she regenerates all of her energy into him, or I don't know. It was a mess, but it was fun. So...
yeah. So we're taking a break from the plot for a little while. We're going to go back to our, standard Doctor Who one-off episodes just for a little bit, just for a couple episodes. But yeah, we're going to put a pin in the whole River Song melody, silence stuff, robots and people and stuff. We're going to put a pin in that for a few episodes. So,
okay.
Yeah, that is... I mean, that's kind of it. That's kind of it about it, so...
It was like, take a handful of ideas and put them in a blender, turn it on high, and pour it out, and you got Let's Kill Hitler.
Yeah, it's definitely... They were going for the emotional whiplash right after A Good Man Goes to War to go to just the most bonkers, crazy episode they could think of, so... which to some people it works, to some people it didn't work, so... Overall, I'm like, I think it's fine. So, it's goofy and fun, so... But yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. You got anything else?
I got nothing.
Then, honestly, we might as well just jump right into this episode of Doctor Who.
That was the shortest intro we've done in a long, long time.
Yep.
No offence, Doctor.
Meaning the opposite?
But we could get a bus somewhere like this.
The exact opposite. Today we're answering a cry for help from the scariest place in the universe. A child's bedroom.
A block of flats. I mean, to his credit, that's pretty terrifying when you're a kid. Like, put up some cardboard in that window.
There are a lot of houses we looked at before we bought this one, but they had bedroom windows out towards the street, and we said, nope, kids are too young for that.
Now, did you know that there are twice as many pets as people here in the UK? Now, that's a lot of animals, and we want to know how clever they are. Now, if you were watching BBC One on Saturday night, you will have seen Rolf Harris and Kate Humble.
There's something about British television that's fascinating. Like, at least in Doctor Who, they always put on, like, the worst garbage.
Are your mummy and daddy in, or is it just you?
That's also terrifying.
Okay.
Is it about the bins? I'll be able to manage when I get the knees. I'm down them stairs like Sherpa Tenzing then.
Can I come in?
No, I would be willing to bet that 99% of the audience did not understand who Sherpa Tenzing was. You ever heard of him?
No.
He's the guy that actually helped Sir Edmund Hillary get to the top of Mount Everest first. He was I think a Nepalese native guide. Love obscure jokes. George, stay in bed.
They need to give George a midnight or something to help him sleep.
Maybe it was, junk mail.
What?
The message on the psychic paper, maybe it was just nothing.
How often does he get message on the psychic paper, though?
What can I call you?
Alex.
Hello, Alex.
Good man.
So,
Well, stop putting scary little things in your room, Georgie.
I'm a mess.
Good transition.
I'm the only one who gives the monkeys round here anymore.
How many times do you have to go to the bin a night?
How does one woman have that much trash? I mean, not the whole thing, but
Yeah.
Talk to you. Come out of there!
that's not a good idea, Elsie.
That was so
No.
bloody horrible. Come on, you little devil. Let's see your face.
Oh no, the trash demons.
Burps. We'll be flashing back to Mickey.
Ever since he was born,
Nope.
he's been a funny kid.
No more burps. We've grown up since then.
And he's scared to death of everything.
Pantophobia.
What?
That's what it's called, pantophobia. Not fear of pants, though, if that's what you're thinking. It's a fear of everything, including pants, I suppose,
Yeah.
in that case. Sorry, come on.
Pan.
He
Tophobia.
hates clowns.
Understandable.
Old toys. He thinks the old lady across the way is a witch.
We were in a lift.
Yeah, I remember getting in and then. What?
We're dead, aren't we? The lift fell and we're dead.
Shut up.
We're dead. Again.
Oh, shut up.
Dead
Just wonder
again.
whether-
Yeah, he knows it when he sees it.
You know, it's obvious what's happened.
Yeah, really, because it's not obvious to me.
Well, the TARDIS has gone funny again. Some time slippy thing. You know, the Doctor's back there in EastEnders land and we're stuck here in the past.
Yeah. Look, just Optimus Prime is gonna save you. It's okay.
So I just want to talk to you
What about?
about the monsters.
If the monsters are real, they can bleed. And if they bleed, we can kill them.
You like stories, George? Yeah, me too. When I was your age, about, 1,000 years ago, I loved a good bedtime story. The Three Little Santarans, the Emperor Dalek's new clothes, Snow White, the Seven Keys to Doomsday, eh? All the classics. Rubbish. Must be broken, eh, those things.
Love the horizontal lens flare. That's interesting.
Well,
Oh, there's a vertical.
it's just not strong enough.
So, have we got this thing open yet? No.
You don't want to do that.
Why?
Because George's monsters are real.
Eh.
Rapunzel's weapon of choice.
Eh,
A skillet. This one's got a doorknob.
guess so. Ah, kick it!
What is it with these photos? Anyway, good. Nice tea. Nothing like a cuppa, but decision. Should we open the cupboard?
Eh.
What? If we... Well, we've got to open the cupboard, haven't we? Of course we have.
Ugh.
Hold on a minute.
Oh, that is a dog that does not care.
Claire's not pregnant. What? Not pregnant.
Well, of course not. Claire can't have kids.
Say that again.
We tried everything. She was desperate, as much IVF as we could afford, but Claire can't have kids.
So...
Oh.
Who are you, George?
Mazel tov. He is wood now.
How can it be bigger in here?
More
Meh.
common than you'd think, actually. You okay?
There was a dollhouse in the cupboard.
Where are we?
Obvious, isn't it?
No!
Doll's house. We're inside
Yep.
the doll's house.
Ah,
I thought you were the expert fighting monsters all day long. You tell me.
Oi, listen, Mush. Old eyes. Remember, I've been around the block a few times, more than a few. They've knocked down the blocks I've been round and rebuilt them with bigger blocks, super blocks. I've been round them as well. I can't remember
Oh.
everything. I'm trying to remember.
There's the dollhouse.
You were too.
A real house built on where these new apartments are.
Doctor, listen. Shh, what's that?
there, I'm up.
Let me come on.
No, no. Yeah. Ugh. You know, it's mixed feelings, because on the one hand it's not Rory, on the other hand it's Amy.
Oh my God.
You know, it's no wonder he put them in the cupboard.
Gun! You got a gun! It's not a gun! What? I've got to invent a setting for wood. It's embarrassing.
You notice that Optimus Prime isn't in here. That works.
Off they drift, looking for a nest. Pretend the young consents exactly what their foster parents want, and then they assimilate. Perfect. George is an alien. Yep. But he's our child.
He's your alien child.
Rory! Doctor, where's Amy? My little boy.
Oh, good job. Ugh. What a horrific place to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Dog's gonna eat you if you don't wake up.
Might pop back around puberty, mind you. Always a funny time.
Eh.
He still needs 350 pounds for the rent.
Yeah.
Oh boy, how about that?
Let's not think about that.
Okay.
I just wanted to drive that home again.
All right. Again, sorry. One plot hole. The nasty landlord, who may, have a change of heart since he freaked out.
He may not be as forceful, but
I mean, that's the one plot hole. The doctor didn't say, by the way, here's 350 pounds for your rent or whatever it is that he owed. But yeah. Very interesting. I mean, this is literally the genesis of multiple films over the last 70 years. Dolls are terrifying.
Yeah.
All right, so I was thinking there would be a tie-in because I saw the dollhouse in the cupboard, and the facade looked kind of like an old version of the facade of the outside apartments. So I was thinking maybe there was some kind of connection there. Apparently, there's not, because it was all in George's mind.
Oh, yeah.
So he's basically a changeling. He's a cuckoo. He's the egg of another bird that is put into a separate bird's nest and raised as their own. And who can bend time and space to create an entire strange funhouse in the cupboard.
Yes. They're not supposed to do that, though. That's the thing, is that they're supposed to fit in so perfectly, but he got scared, basically. And when he thought he was going to be rejected, then everything just kind of went haywire. So, but yeah, it's a very interesting story. I don't know. I don't think it's very highly regarded, but it's interesting, especially taking something so mundane of here's this, guy, working class, he's trying to be, at least he doesn't even have a job right now. But, this couple, they're having some hard times. They have a kid, but he's having some problems and stuff. And it's like, all right, and aliens. How do we make that into a Doctor Who episode? And honestly, I think it works out pretty well. So, and then even just taking the natural fears of a child, I feel like any child, if their bed was right there next to that window where there's always a light on throughout the entire night, there's always this light from the apartments and stuff, and some old lady, walks by slowly with her creaking, baskets and her wheezing and stuff. That's terrifying. So,
now, this may be too much information, but before you started all of this, didn't you used to have your bed over under the window?
I did. I did used to do that.
The only thing that's out there is our air conditioning unit, which has a kind of a low hum, which probably put you to sleep. Yeah,
I mean, it used to be worse for storms and stuff, but nowadays, and I normally keep my bed over on this side nowadays, but most of the time I'm fine. But I also, because I've had not necessarily insomnia, I would say, because I'm not awake for days on end. But I have had trouble sleeping my entire life, and that still persists. Even now, at the age of 28, it still happens. But I have found a variety of medications to take in order to deal with that.
Many of them natural, by the way. He doesn't do prescription drugs or anything. It's just over the counter stuff.
Yeah. So
for those of you who might be worried.
Yeah. So but yeah, I mean and there was I will say there was one night. This wasn't like a fear or anything or even a storm, but there was one night, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, where it snowed. And it was before I had these curtains that you can see here. And that night, after it had snowed, it was so bright in my room. And for some reason, my mind was just racing the entire night, and I could not sleep. I fell asleep at about 4 o'clock in the morning. And woke up maybe at 8, maybe, and I got up and I had to record episodes for the channel, and I don't remember which episodes they were exactly, but if you were watching those shows, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, and I was just like, I am exhausted and I can barely focus right now. So I think I recorded like 2 episodes that day and then like called it and just rested for the rest of the day because I was so tired. But
now I have one weird story, and I'll make it very short. Living in Alabama, my dad was in the Air Force. We were in base housing, but this I would have been probably somewhere either 4th or 5th grade. And again, had a room where my bed was against the wall, but at the foot of my bed was the window. And my window looked out on a very open kind of field. It was kind of a communal area between the houses, but off in the distance was a swamp. I mean, Alabama, swampland. And one night I woke up, didn't hear anything. I just happened to wake up, and I thought, oh, this is weird. And for some reason, I sat up and went down to the end of my bed, and I looked out the window, and there was something there. To this day, I have no idea what it was. It was amorphous. It didn't really have a shape. It wasn't Casper the Friendly Ghost or anything. But when I looked out the window, it moved away from my house across the communal space, literally appeared to jump over a fence and disappeared into the swamp. And I have no idea what it was.
Yeah.
I just went, okay, I'm going to go back to sleep now.
Yeah. I've seen people talk about, ghost stories kind of like that. I remember there's one guy who says, I believe ghost stories, but I don't believe they are ghosts. There is a logical reason, and a logical explanation behind everything, but I believe the stories. So if it's, I mean, you said yours was this amorphous blob and everything, but he was saying it's like, if there is something in this world that makes you see a creepy Victorian girl at the end of your bed or something, I believe that happened. I just don't think it was a ghost. And it's like, well, okay, that's something. So yeah, honestly, I'm sure you did see something. So
we have 2 places here in Oklahoma City. One is the Skirvin Hotel, built in the 1900s. There's also the Overholser Mansion, which was, again, one of the leading families back in the early days of Oklahoma City. And time and again, people who stayed in the Skirvin have seen the ghost who wanders in and out of rooms. Said to have been somebody who worked there who either died in an accident or, some other... but died in the hotel, and their spirit wanders the halls. And the Overholser Mansion is supposedly haunted by the ghost of, I think, the lady of the house who had died there. And around the Halloween time, they have tours. You can go in and you can sit literally all night in the Overholser Mansion. And, sometimes people have said that they've either felt her presence or they've actually seen things moving. So Oklahoma City has a nice little haunted history here.
I wonder if they've ever done an episode of Ghost Adventures about that.
Entirely possible.
Have you ever watched an episode of Ghost Adventures?
No.
It's so bad. I love it. It's the dumbest thing. I made a video about an episode where there was an episode they did where they tried to find the ghost of George Washington because they found his home, and it's, oh my god, it's the dumbest thing. First off, it was not the place that he died in. So I was already like, okay, if he didn't die there, then why would the ghost be there? But the explanation, I love this. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, is that old wood is able to record images of like people that touch it, and at some points it is said that the wood like releases these images as like projection. So you have like these old wooden staircases from the 1700s and stuff, so that's what people are seeing. And I just thought, how, like, what does that mean wood can store these images and stuff?
Now, and again, I'm not an expert on this, but if I recall correctly, in the British Isles particularly, there was the belief in the Druidic, I don't want to call it a religion, but the Druidic mythology at best, that there were spirits that lived in the trees. In fact, the whole, again, please don't take any of this seriously, the whole idea of the Force in the Star Wars movies kind of comes from that Druidic tradition, that there's a force somewhere in nature that binds the world together, and the Druids certainly believed that there was a force of nature that did that. It
was just so goofy. And one of the things they used in that episode to try to find ghosts was a Microsoft Kinect. Now, a Microsoft Kinect is a peripheral for the Xbox 360, which is a video game console, and it's basically like a camera thing that you set up, and it allows you to play a video game without using a controller, right? So they took that, this 20-year-old peripheral for the Xbox 360, and they said, we can use this to see where ghosts are. And that was like the point where it lost me. And I was just like, come on, you cannot tell me that the Kinect, one of the biggest mistakes Microsoft ever made with the Xbox line, is able to track where a ghost is so bad. It was so, but those episodes are always hilarious.
Now, just following up one last thing on what you said, didn't Washington die at his home in Mount Vernon? I think he did.
I think so, but I don't think it was that home. It might have been like maybe his home at the Capitol or something. I couldn't remember, but I don't think it was. It wasn't the same place that he died,
because he never lived in the White House. It probably had a residence somewhere in what would become Washington, D.C., but the Capitol was in New York for a while.
Yeah.
But we've been to Mount Vernon. I just wanted to put that in there because it's. I mean, if you're visiting the United States, you have to go to Philadelphia and see Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell. You have to go to Mount Vernon. You have to go to Thomas Jefferson's place at Monticello, and you have to go to Boston. Those are the places if you want to know about how the United States really got started. We're not talking about the colonial stuff from 1600 to 1776. We're talking about this is where the United States was formed.
Yeah, so it's... Anyway, do you believe in ghosts? I guess that's the question for... The only other thing, this isn't exactly ghosts, but it's just a thing I have no explanation for, and I think I've mentioned it. Maybe I mentioned it in an episode here or not, but I think I did. It was like a couple months ago that I was just like, it was like 10 o'clock at night. I was going to the fridge to get my cold water for the night, and I just look out, one of our windows, and I just see something flying across the sky on fire. And I could very well see fire coming off of it. And there were 3 of them, all in the same perfect arc across the sky. And I have no proof of it, because I didn't have my phone on me at the time, so I couldn't record it. And I remember, because I saw that, and I was like, what in the world? Because it looked like just 3 planes on fire, basically. And I went back to my room, and I was like, am I about to hear an explosion? Or 3 explosions in the distance? And I didn't. And then I looked it up on the news. I didn't find anything. I looked it up the next day. I didn't find anything. And I have never seen anything that, corroborates that I actually saw this. So it's not necessarily ghosts. It could be aliens, for all I know. But there was something, 3 flaming objects that fell across the sky one night.
Probably very small meteorites burning up in the atmosphere. But again,
maybe
because the large ones, that usually have some kind of explosion at the end when they hit the ground. But if these disintegrated in the air and you just happen to be looking up at 10 o'clock at night, if nobody else was doing that, nobody recorded it, then that's why it didn't show up.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was very strange though, because I look up at the sky at night just to see, you know, sometimes I see the moon out there, sometimes maybe I can see a planet or something, but that was the one time where it's just like, that's slightly concerning. There's just 3 flaming objects going through the sky. So,
Anywho,
I don't know. Is there anything to say about the actual episode? Because we haven't really talked about it.
well, again, this is one of those odd episodes where the Doctor's doing one thing and Amy and Rory are doing something else. It's not the 3 of them together.
Yeah.
So.
This is definitely where they really started leaning into the fairy tale aspect of Doctor Who, which, I mean, they've done that, you know, last season and this season, but just seeing these things where it's like, it's aliens, but it's not strictly a standard sci-fi thing. It's like, okay, you know, what are the monsters in the cupboard and stuff like that, and eventually gets a scientific explanation, but it's interesting. It's an interesting, you know, change of pace basically for a Doctor Who story. So, but yeah, honestly, I don't think they're gonna mind that much that we didn't talk about this episode, because I don't know. I don't think many people really care for this episode.
Yeah. Now, again, this is just from a parent's point of view. The robots and everything are not scary in and of themselves, but you know, they had a dragon or something. You know, that's, if your kid has night terrors, you want to remove anything that might be even semi-scary.
Oh yeah.
Now, was it you or your brother who was into the dinosaurs? Was that him?
Might have been.
Yeah, but he never had those around his room or anything.
Oh yeah.
Literally the only thing he ever really had beginning was his tiny little orca from when we went to SeaWorld. And after that, he started getting into Star Trek and things like that. So his brother has a huge display of Star Trek starships in his room. And used to have bionicles.
Yeah.
But nothing really scary. You've never really had anything scary. So
No. And honestly, just, I mean, my kind of first reaction to this is like, okay, so your kid, you know, he's having trouble sleeping. He thinks everything in his room is scary. And it's like, well, not everything in his room is scary, because otherwise everything would be in the cupboard. And it's like, okay, so, I mean, just a very quick, you know, easy thing is you take that, you know, very clearly Optimus Prime doll that he has, just give that to him and just be like, here, this is Optimus Prime. He will protect you from everything, because he's friggin' Optimus Prime. Whether or not that would work, I don't know, but that's at least a start. Yeah. Give him the Optimus Prime instead of the flashlight that keeps making all these scary images. So, I don't know. That's pretty much it.
Yep.
And we'll be back in 2 weeks for episode 10.
Which is, what's the next one up?
The Girl Who Waited.
Oh, okay.
So, but that is basically it. With all of that being said, we're Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of our modern Doctor Who reactions, as well as another playlist with every Doctor Who reaction that's on the channel. It's probably topping over 600 by now. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.